So a problem like number 1. Make sure if you have mistakes you are correcting these as we go through it. You have different options. You can work through order of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, PEMDAS, we know that. But we have that calculator and it is something that you can do. So you're welcome to type it all in. Some people put the entire thing in. Some people did the top and then the bottom. Some of you worked it out. So any of those options are fine. Square root of 9 is 3. 5 squared is 25. If you worked it out step by step, the cube root of 8 is 2. On the top, 84 divided by 28 is 3, so you get 3 over 2. Or 1.5 if you did it as a decimal. So one of those answers. Number 2 is really tricky. So we have to look at this. We have Marco, we have Leah, and then we have the mother. It tells us Marco is 5 less than twice his sister's Leah's age. Do we know how old Leah is? No, so let's call that X. If he is 5 less than is a turnaround, so it means minus 5. Twice his sister would be 2x. The mother is 14 older than, so that means plus, Marco and Leah's combined ages. So that means you're going to add together their ages. And she is, so is means equals 48. So you get 14 plus 3x minus 5 equals 48. 14 minus 5 is 9. We subtract that over. Divide by 3. And x is 13. The question is, how old is Marco? X is Leah's age. So to get Marco, we have to plug our x in here. So 2 times 13 minus 5. 26 minus 5 gives us 21. Now there are certainly other ways to get around that. So that one is hard to come up with. But you could work backwards from your answer choices. That's a multiple choice question. The EOC is not timed. We could go back through and say, okay, well, Marco is 5 less than twice his sister. So if he was 21, then his sister, and work backwards there. So you would have to say, okay, he's 5 less than, you'd have to add 5 to her age and divide by 2. And you can work backwards from your answer choices. So if it's multiple choice and you get stuck, kind of go through your answer choices and see if any of those make sense. How could you do problem 3?
You start with the parentheses.
Yeah. 2 different options were given and both work. You can put everything in the calculator, and as long as you type it in correctly, it'll work. You can also work it out. If you work it out, you start inside your parentheses. These brackets are just more parentheses. So if you're using a calculator or even just writing it out, those are the same. So 12 squared is 144. 144 minus 9. So now you have to do the 135 divided by 5, which is 4 to the third is 64. So you have 64 plus 7 times 27. If you didn't already put it in the calculator, now would be the time. And if you plug that in, what do you guys get? 253. All right. How are we doing on these? Okay. Everybody getting any mistakes fixed as we go through? We're going to do a couple more. I'm going to finish this first page and I'm going to give you guys some more time to work. So number 4, what I'm giving you here is numbers to plug in. So I have a negative. My a is 4 squared plus 2. A is 4, b is negative 7. Once you plug it in, you could type that in your calculator. Just realize when you have 2ab, if it's all written side by side, that just means 2 times a times b. So otherwise, if you work it out, you get negative 16 plus, what's 2 times 4 times negative 7? Negative 56. And negative 16 plus negative 56 is C, negative 72. Number 5, 7 subtracted from. Does that mean 7 minus or something minus 7?
Something minus 7.
The quotient. What does quotient mean? Division. A number and 3. So you have a number and 3 that are divided. So this one is D. Alright, number 6, solving the equation. The opposite of dividing by negative 4 is multiplying by negative 4. So we multiply by negative 4 on both sides. So negative 32 equals m plus 7. Trying to get m by itself, so we subtract our 7. And we get m to be negative 39. And you guys tell me, what do I have to do first on number 7?
You have to add 3.
So we have negative 2x is greater than negative 4. I have to divide by negative 2. And in inequality, what happens if you divide by a negative?
It flips.
It flips. So that means x is less than 2. So that is my answer. X is everything smaller than 2. Wants to know which one is a function. And if you remember this about functions, that means x can't repeat, so it has to pass the vertical line test. So if you can draw a vertical line that hits a graph more than once, it's not a function. So A isn't a function, B isn't a function, D isn't a function. The only one that works is C. That's the only one where you can draw vertical lines that don't hit it more than once. Alright, domain. Domain is talking about x, so it goes from left to right. So if I'm starting from the left, the first x we hit is right here at negative 4. And then we hit everything after that. So my domain, x's are getting larger. It's a closed circle, so it's equal to negative 4. Range is referring to the y. So if you're starting at the bottom, here is my lowest point. So that is at negative 2. And then it keeps going up forever. Range talks about y's. It's everything bigger than negative 2. And since it didn't have an open circle, that also gets an equal to. So domain is left to right. Range is bottom to top. Domain is the variable x. Range is the variable y. Number 10. Sometimes they ask you some questions that you have seen, but probably not in a very long time. So mean, median, mode. If it asks for a mean, that's an average. You add them all up and divide by the total number. Mode is which one shows up the most, which value gets repeated. Median is the middle. So if these numbers are in order from smallest to largest, what number is in the middle? And the easiest way to get that is to think of it as crossing off numbers. Okay, this one, so I'm just going to cross off the lowest and the highest. Next lowest and next highest, because I'm trying to find what number's in the middle. So I'm just crossing them off, because if you had a list of numbers, the highest and lowest drop each other out when you're searching for the middle. I'm left with these two in the middle. What number does that represent? 23. So you could, if you preferred, make a list of your numbers or just mark off your dots like that. All right. Which value is not in the solution? So there's two options. You could actually solve this. We did one of these yesterday, so we know we subtract the 13 from all sides. So negative 32 is less than 2k. It's less than or equal to negative 14. Divide all of them by 2. So we're looking for numbers between negative 16 and negative 7. So looking at your list, can you tell me which number is not between negative 16 and negative 7? Let's see. Negative 6. So if you think about a number line, here's negative 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. The other option, if you were having trouble solving it, you could always work back from your answer choices and just plug them in. You know, if I put in negative 9, use your calculator. 2 times negative 9 plus 13 is negative 5. Is negative 5 between negative 19 and 1? Yes, so that's not my answer. And work that way, checking each of those answers. All right, number 12. When I ask for f of negative 3, what do we have to do? You can use your calculator, just put the negative 3 in parentheses, or you can work it out. And we should get negative 12. All right, number 13. What would probably be the easiest option for doing this on the EOC? Go to Desmos. All right, everybody pull that up. So everyone Chromebook out, Desmos open, please. All right, so what I would do is just type in each of these. 3x plus 5y equals negative 10. All right, when I'm looking at that, does that look like my answer? This one says it hits the y-axis at negative 2. Is that where this one hit? Yeah. It had hit the x-axis over here between negative 3 and negative 4. And that looks right. So did I get lucky the first time? I did. A is the correct graph. So on those, you don't have to do a lot of work. Just use Desmos. Plug them in, see which one works. 14. Here's my function. And I'm telling you P of n is 1200. So this whole thing gets replaced with 1200. So if I want to solve this, we subtract our 500. Then what would we do? Opposite of multiplying is dividing, so we divide by 0.4. And use your calculator, 700 divided by 0.4 is 1,750. Last one. The EOC likes questions like this, where there's multiple correct answers. What we are going to do is just check each of these. What does absolute value do?
It makes everything.
Makes everything positive. So grab your calculator if you need to. We're going to plug these numbers in for C. So if I put in 0, 2 times 0 plus 11 is just 11. Is the absolute value of 11 bigger than 7? Yes, the absolute value of 11 is 11. 11 is bigger than 7. So 0 works. If I put in a negative 5, so in your calculator you can do 2 times negative 5 plus 11. And that gives you 1. The absolute value of 1 is 1. Is 1 bigger than 7?
No.
No. So negative 5 doesn't work. Try 10. So if I put in 10, 2 times 10 plus 11 is 31. Is the absolute value of 31 bigger than 7? Yes. Put in a negative 2. 2 times negative 2 plus 11. What do you get? is the absolute value of 7 bigger than 7?
No.
No, they're equal, not bigger. Alright, try 6. So 2 times 6 is 12, plus 11, 23. Is the absolute value of 23 bigger than 7?
Yes.
Yes. If I put in a 1, 2 times 1 plus 11 is 13. Is the absolute value of 13 bigger than 7?
Yes.
If I put in a 4, 2 times 4 is 8, plus 11 is 19. Is the absolute value of 19 bigger than 7? And negative 12. 2 times negative 12 is negative 24, plus 11 is negative 13. But remember, absolute value makes it positive, so that turns into positive 13, and 13 is bigger than 7. So that one also works.